Well, thank you all for being here this morning for a 30-minute chair yoga class. So let's go ahead and get settled in. So I hope you got a chair, preferably one without arms, because I do plan to turn sideways in the chair today. If for some reason you can't hear me well enough, let me know. But otherwise, let's go ahead and get started. So I invite you to sit in your chair and sit forward away from the back of the chair. If that's appropriate. If you need support, then of course you can use the chair back. So sit with your hips evenly balanced right and left on the chair, your feet balanced evenly right and left on the floor, and so that your knees are lined up right over your ankles and your toes are pointing forward. So then rest the backs of your hands onto your legs with your palms up. Relax your shoulders down and take your spine up nice and tall. So take a long, deep breath in. And a slow, relaxed breath out. And then I invite you to gently close your eyes. So feel the contact of your feet on the floor, the contact of your hips on the chair. And even notice the sensation of your hands resting onto your legs. And turn your attention to the contact of your breath. And what I'm saying with that is notice the contact of the air at the very tip of your nostrils as you breathe in and as you breathe out. Notice the coolness of the air as it enters the nostrils and the warmth of the air as you exhale. You may notice some other things about your breath as well, maybe the length, the texture. Is it smooth or bumpy? Are there pauses after you inhale and after you exhale? What else might you notice about your breath? Which is longer? Is it your inhale or is it your exhale? And now, without straining, without discomfort, begin to lengthen your inhales and your exhales. And with anything that we do together today, if something's uncomfortable or you feel like you're forcing or you're not supposed to do it, then don't. So I invite you to take one more breath that's longer on the inhales and the exhales. And then settle back into a relaxed breathing pattern so that you're not intentionally lengthening it or doing anything to it. And just notice if the breath that you relax into now feels similar to what you were doing when we first started, or has the breath already begun to change? And now as you exhale, bring your hands together and bring your hands against the center of your chest so that your thumbs are resting against the breastbone. And then as you exhale, gently let your head drop down toward your chest. And take a moment to let this be your reminder to work with compassion for yourself, to not overdo, to not force, but to work in a way that creates change, but not discomfort. And then slowly release your hands. Let your palms rest onto your legs now. And then slowly open your eyes. And lift your head and gently bring your gaze to look forward once again. So regardless of the height of your device, I invite you just to let your eyes go out along the horizon rather than looking down or up. Just let your chin and your eyes be parallel for a moment. And just see how that feels. All right, so let's start to warm up. We're going to start from toes to head today. So come even more forward in your chair. And take your feet a little forward of your knees now. And let's just start to warm up the ankles a bit. So I'd like for you to raise your toes and the balls of your feet and then lower back down. So you're just going to go up and down with the toes and the balls of the feet. So warming up the ankles, the shins. You may even feel something all the way up into your thighs as we do this. Now let the toes and the balls of the feet come up. Now, extra credit for spreading your toes. Now, did you do that while spreading your fingers or just your toes? Sometimes many of us spread our fingers to help our toes spread. So if that happens, just relax your fingers. Now keep your toes lifted, put the balls of your feet back down, but still keep spreading your toes. And then finally relax your toes back down. All right, now I want you to think windshield wipers with your ankles. I want you to lift the toes and the balls of the feet again. Now keep the legs pretty stationary and then just begin to swivel your feet a little to the right and a little to the left. So you're just going to go back and forth, think windshield wipers. So both feet swivel right, swivel left. Do that a few more times. And then just come back into the middle and lower everything back down. All right, now take hold of the back of your right knee and use your hands to help raise the right knee up toward your chest. Draw the top of your foot toward your shin and lift your spine up nice and tall. Now make sure you're breathing in and out through your nose this whole time. And then gently on an exhale, set the foot back down. So let's do the other side. So inhale and then exhale, raise the knee. You can use your arms to help. Sit tall, draw the top of your foot back toward your shin. Make sure you're breathing. And then gently set the foot back down. Now let's go back to the first side once again. So exhale, raise the right knee, use your hands, lift the knee up tall. Now here's the challenge. How many of us lift our knee and then our spine sinks down to meet the knee? So I'm going to challenge you to lift your knee and lift your spine up, lift your chest up. Now, still holding on, swing the leg forward and back a little bit. So just warming up the knee a bit here. And if you get tired at any time, you can always set the foot down and rest. All right, and then just let the swinging stop and set the foot down. So let's do the other side. So exhale, raise your left knee, hang on, sit tall. I just caught myself about to slouch. Don't do that. And then give a little swing. Okay, if there's clicking and popping and cranking noises, then don't move quite so much. You can make your swing smaller. That would be fine. And then just let the foot relax and set the foot down. All right, now join the legs and the feet together. Take your right ankle and cross it over your left ankle. So I'm just letting my knee flop out to the side. So this is one option. You could stay here. Or if you want to slide this leg up a little higher, that's another alternative. You could take this left leg out and kind of split the difference and rest on your shin. That's an option too. So sit with a tall spine and then take a big breath in. Reach the arms out and up overhead. Exhale, take your arms back down, hold on to the chair and add a little bit of a tip forward. Now I'm moving from my hips. I'm going to turn sideways. Y'all stay where you are, but I'm tipping from the side. I'm not just slouching and punching over, but I'm keeping the spine long. So when I do that, and I'm feeling that outer right hip, it has something to say. And then slowly come back upright and then uncross the leg. All right, same thing on the other side. So cross the left ankle. You can cross it over the right ankle. You could stay here. That's fine. You could scooch that leg out and kind of split the difference, or you can come all the way up on top. Now make sure you didn't rearrange that right foot. So have your knee and toes pointing forward on your right leg. I'll take the spine up tall. And then once again, hinge from your hips, tip forward, keep the spine long. And it's the same thing whether your ankle is high or low. And you can hold on to the chair for stability. Certainly don't need anybody sliding and falling out of the chair. So it's just a little tip forward. Keep that spine nice and long. Keep breathing in and out through the nose the whole time as well. And then slowly inhale, come back upright and uncross the leg. All right, separate your feet and your knees a comfortable width apart. Knees and toes point forward. And let's start to work with your spine a little bit. So bring your arms down by your sides. So this is like a seated mountain pose. Now inhale, raise your arms up overhead. And now we're going to take a twist. So you're going to twist to your right. I'm mirroring you. So you're going to twist to your right. So bring your right hand, hold the chair somewhere with your right hand. Take your left hand somewhere over onto your right leg and turn your belly, your chest, and maybe even your gaze over that right shoulder. And then inhale, return to center, raise the arms overhead. And then exhale, twist to your left. So hold the chair with your left hand, right hand onto the left leg. So get tall with your spine, and then keep your tallness. As you exhale, turn your belly button, your chest, and then maybe even look over that left shoulder. And then inhale, come back to center, raise the arms overhead. Let's do that one more time each side. Exhale, twist to your right. So hold the chair, hold your leg, and turn. And as you're turning, notice that the hips, the legs, and the feet aren't really going anywhere. We're really turning from about belly button upward. And then come back to center, raise the arms, and then exhale, twist to your left. So again, feet, hips, legs, knees, none of that moves, but just your belly and your chest. So I think of it like opening a pickle jar lid, right? So you got to hold the jar steady so you can turn the lid off. Well, think about the bottom half of your body as you're holding the pickle jar still. You're using the spine to create that turning, getting the lid off the jar. And then inhale, come back to center, raise the arms up overhead. And then exhale, let the arms drop down. So now reach your hands out towards your knees, lift your chest a little bit, lift your tail feathers a little bit, and look up just a bit. Now don't look at the wall behind you, no need to go that far, but look up just a bit with your chin. And then come back into neutral. And then let's do that again. So lift your chest, lift your gaze, even flip your pelvis a little bit. So I always think of it like my tail feathers are lifting up so that you're creating an arc in the spine. And then come back into neutral. So I'm not going to round the other way today. But now let's take a side bend. So drop the arms down by your sides, mountain pose again. So inhale again, get tall, and then exhale, side bend. So with your left hand, reach your fingertips down. Now your right hand's just kind of dangling over here. You can hold the chair if you need to for stability. So it's like I'm going to try to pick up something off the floor over here, but don't go so far that you fall out. And then slowly inhale, come back up. And let's do the other way. So inhale, get tall, keep the tallness and lift up and over. So it's not that I'm just compressing and crunching the right side. It's like I'm lifting up and over. Like I got a big beach ball here to my side. And then slowly inhale and come all the way back up. Great. All right, so let's stay with that side bending action and come into a pose that's called gate pose. Normally it's done kneeling on the floor on a knee, but you don't need to do that. We're going to stay in the chair. So let's keep the left leg right where it is, and then scoot your right leg off to the right. Now I know for me, I'm just so short, I'm going to scoot over to the right side of my chair a little bit, a little more comfortable. So if you need to scoot, that's fine. So you'll notice my right leg and toes are pointing off to the right side of the room over here. If your toes come down to the ground, that's great. If they don't, then they stick up in the air, and that's great. That's fine too. All right, so inhale, take a full breath in, reach the arms up overhead. Now exhale, bend to your right. So hold the chair this time with your right hand, and then side bend over to the straight leg. Now, don't forget to breathe while you're here. So there's that same lifting up and over side bend that we did a moment ago. And then slowly inhale and come all the way back upright. Stretch the arms up nice and tall. Exhale, release the arms, and then scoot that right leg in to join your left. All right, so let's give that a go on the other side. So I'm going to scoot a little left. You're welcome to join me. So the right leg stays where it is, knees and toes forward, knee and toes forward, and then the left leg off to the left. So it's pointing over here to my left wall. My kneecap, my toes are going that way. And again, you can have your toes up in the air. That works fine. So inhale, raise the arms out and up. Take a big breath in. And then exhale, side bend. So hold the chair with your left hand, bend that elbow, and then reach the right arm up and over. So if you need to move the left hand position because holding the chair is awkward, that's fine. You can hang on somewhere different as you need. As long as you're breathing, then we're doing good. Don't forget about that part. In and out through the nose. And then inhale, slowly come all the way back, right? Exhale, lower your arms, sneak that left leg in, and then scoot yourself back to the center of your chair if you went off to the side. Now come back to that mountain pose and just notice how you feel now that we've done several things for the spine already this morning. See how it's feeling. So now let's come into another twisting pose. So separate your feet about shoulder width apart, knees and toes point forward, and then hinge forward. So I'm keeping my spine long, and then just set your left forearm across the two thighs. So I'm just going to hang on to my right thigh with my left hand, and my elbow is just kind of hanging off the edge so it's not digging into skin. So from the side view, that's where the spine is, that long shape. All right, so now take a deep breath in. Now as you exhale, just keep the right hand on the right thigh for now. Begin to rotate a little bit. So maybe you're starting to look toward the right side of the room. Maybe your chest starts to turn a little bit. And then rotate back forward, and then let's switch. So the right forearm comes across, hang on to the thigh, elbow hangs off, left hand on the left thigh. Inhale, get long and tall. Exhale, keep that tallness, and then look a little to the left. So it's not as big of a twist as what we were doing when we were sitting upright, you may notice. Now that we've added this hinge forward, remember, keep that low back nice and long. So you're not rounding, you're not slouching. You're keeping that long, long spine. And then slowly rotate back forward, hands on the thighs, push into your legs, and slowly bring yourself all the way back. Great. All right, now take your arms down by your sides and press the arms back. Now just work around the kind of chair that you have. Don't hit your arms into the chair, but take your arms back and lift and open up the chest. So side view is that the arms are coming back. And then slowly let the arms drop down. And let's do that once again. So slowly raise the arms up. Keep the chest nice and tall so you're not leaning forward or poking your head forward like a pigeon. Keep the spine tall. And then release the arms back down by your sides. Now, take your arms out in front of you. Interweave your fingers. Turn the palms forward toward your device. And then slowly as you inhale, raise your arms overhead. Press it up. And if this is too much on your shoulders, don't lift as high. That's fine. So press up with your thumb and index finger side as much as your pinky side. Most of us tend to have the pinkies a little higher. So I'm going to challenge you to press the index side up a little bit. And then slowly, as you exhale, lower the arms. Turn the palms in. Now, somehow you interwove your fingers. I don't know, is your right thumb on top or is it your left? And then what about your index? Is it right or left on top? So what I'm going to ask you to do is change it. So I'll just come closer to the device, make sure everybody knows what I'm talking about. So if your hands were like this, so for me, I tend to do left on top if I'm not paying attention. So I'm going to switch. So now everything else is on top. Okay. So now that we got that weird thing going, turn the palms forward and then again, raise the arms. So yeah, it probably feels a little weird. But that's part of what yoga is about, isn't it? Is trying something different, being more balanced. It's not just standing on one foot balancing, but it's balancing the two sides of the body as well. And then exhale, slowly lower the arms, turn the palms in, and release the hands down. Good. All right, so we're going to turn sideways in the chair. So this is where I said at the beginning, I hope you've got a chair without arms. If you don't, then just work with this as best as you can facing forward. So I want you to turn sideways in your chair. So your right hip is next to the back of the chair. Now scoot back until your knees pretty much hook near the edge of the chair. So your bum is near the back edge of the chair. And my knees and feet are together. So if you need to add support under your feet, if you're like me where the chair's bigger than me, my feet are kind of light on the floor. So, but for you guys, ideally, if you've got something you could put under your feet, like a blanket or a book or something, that'd be great. So we're going to do a twist and go toward the back of the chair. So I'm going to spin. Y'all don't move. So inhale, raise your arms overhead. And now exhale, turn to your right. So you're going to turn toward the back of the chair and grab low on the sides of the chair. I'm going to spin one more time. Y'all can move. But notice grabbing low. So I'm not up here with my shoulders up in my ears. My hands are low, my shoulders are down, and I'm using my hands on the chair to help turn my spine. So we're coming into that twist again, turning from the belly, the chest, even maybe looking over that right shoulder. And then release the twist, but still keep facing sideways in the chair because I'm not done. We're going to do several things sitting sideways today. So now keep your right leg where it is. Let your left leg drop off the front of the chair. So this will really just depend on you. You can hold the chair, by the way, for balance. So again, don't fall out. So you may find this is enough for me. I don't need to move the leg back. Maybe you're like, I could do a little bit more. So maybe you stretch the leg back a little bit further. I don't know, you're feeling really extra sparkly, spunky today. Maybe the leg straightens back there. So you've got some options you can work with. So it can be quite bent, kind of like, baby bear, mama bear, papa bear, 3 choices. Any of them are fine. I'll go with the middle one. So hold the spine up tall. Now, if you feel steady, raise one or maybe even both arms up overhead. Now, if you don't feel steady, then you got a chair, hang on to it, okay? So lift up tall through your spine, whether your arms are up or not. Don't forget to breathe while you're here. So it's a version of a pose called Warrior One. Now, slowly, as you exhale, let your hands come down. Now, hold the chair with both hands. Now, take a breath in and then hinge a little forward. So we did a hinge earlier. Actually, we've done a couple hinges, so I guess this is the 3rd round. So you're tipping forward a little bit. Now, you can stay here holding onto the chair. That is perfectly fine. Some of you may find, there's a floor down there. Some of you may find the hands could come down. So that's an option. And if your hands come down, that back leg might actually be more comfortable if you straighten it further back. So that's an option as well. So I've given y'all 14 choices. So find the one that makes the most sense for you today. And all the while, keep breathing. So if the back leg is straight, go ahead and bend it. It's just a lot easier to get out of this thing. And then use your hands, work your way back on the chair. Sit up tall, take your back leg, join it up to your front leg. And now, hopefully, I will remember all that. And we're going to do it on the other side. So spin yourself around to the left and back up until your bum is near the edge of the chair and your knees are hooked on the edge of the chair. So start knees and feet together, toes and knees are pointing to the left wall. So take the spine up tall, raise your arms overhead, big deep breath in, and then exhale, turns the back of the chair again. So again, I'll turn sideways, just so we're all on the same page. So you're grabbing low on the chair as you turn your belly and your chest. So again, I'm not holding up here. If I hold up here, I tend to lift my shoulders. So the shoulders stay down as you turn belly, the chest, and the nose toward the back of the chair. Make sure you're breathing with this. And then slowly release the twist, turn back towards your knees. So now, stay with your left leg like it is. You're going to drop the right leg off the front. And again, you can decide how far you're going to take it back. Maybe you just barely drop it off. Maybe it's way back there. Maybe it's somewhere in between. And the other thing is, if you find this is just torture on your toes, especially if you have arthritis in the toes, you might find it more comfortable to be on the top of the foot. So just know that that's an alternative as well. This is not cutting it for you today. All right, so take the spine up tall, hang on with your left hand to the chair, maybe raise the right hand, maybe also raise the left. Now again, that's certainly optional. You can keep hanging on to the chair. Keep breathing, reach up nice and tall through the spine. If your arms are overhead, reach actively with them as well. Now slowly exhale, lower the arms, hold on to the chair, get nice and stable. And then hinge forward a bit. So again, my spine is long. Now you can stay right here. That is an option. Maybe you're like, nope, I want to come down a little further. Maybe the hands even come all the way down. And then again, maybe once you're down, the back leg straightens a bit more. Again, you certainly don't have to, but I think it's easier when you're down here in this position if you do want to straighten it to do it here rather than upright. All the while, keep breathing. Slowly work your way back up to that Warrior One variation. Bring the spine up tall. Then take that back leg, drag it to meet your front leg. And then swivel yourself back around to face forward once again. All right, so notice how all that feels. We just did a lot of work in the hips and the legs and in the spine. So just check in. You just bring your arms down by your sides. If you want to even close the eyes for a moment, turn your attention a little more inward. Feel free to do so. And let the breath settle. So especially if your breathing got a little more rapid, let it relax and settle back down now. Nice. If you close the eyes, open the eyes, back up. All right, and then just place the palms onto the legs. Take the spine up nice and tall. And then turn your palms up toward the ceiling. So let's do a little bit of hand and finger work today. This is a nice practices to do, especially if the fingers feel stiff or tight, especially in the morning. So let's start by spreading the fingers wide and then just relax. So spread and relax. Just do that a few times. I'm going to come closer to the camera so y'all can see my hands a little more clearly. You're losing my head, but that's okay. As long as you can see my hands, we're good. So now keep the fingers spread. Now, one by one, I want you to touch the tip of your thumb to the tip of each finger and then spread them back out. So I'm just touching one by one. And then I'm going to do it again. So just one by one. And then go through it one more time. Tip of thumb to tip of the index, or to index, middle, ring, all the way down. Now, same idea, but this time instead of touching the tip, I want you to touch the nail. Hopefully you can see the difference. So rather than tip, we're going to touch the thumb to the nail of each digit. All right, so let's go down through that. Let's do it 3 times all the way down. And then one more time. I'm just touching the pad of the thumb to the nail of each finger. All right, and then just wiggle the fingers out a little bit. And then just take the hands and you're going to clasp the hands together. So I'm just curving the palms a little bit. So it's just right hand over left. And then go back and forth. So it's not just swiveling. Notice I'm separating. So this is also a little bit of an exercise for your brain. A little bit of coordination exercise here, but also good for the hands, the wrists, the forearms, getting things nice and warmed up, getting ready for your day. And then just come back to center. Now take your thumbs in toward each other and you're going to stack your fingers. So I'm going to bring the pad of my index finger onto the pad of my thumb. And then I'm just going to lay each finger on top. And then one by one, I pull back up and out. So let's do that one more time. Stack the fingers, pull them back up. My left pinky didn't cooperate, you may have noticed. And then just wiggle the fingers out and then let them relax. All right, so speaking of relaxation, let's end with some relaxation. So if you want to scoot back and lean against the back of your chair now for support so you can relax a little more, I invite you to do that. So still have your knees and your feet planted on the floor, pointing forward, and your palms up toward the ceiling. Relax your shoulders and then gently close your eyes. Begin to breathe in a more relaxed manner, still in and out through the nose this whole time. And then soften, relax the muscles of your face so that you're not making a facial expression. Relax the face, the jaw. Relax the muscles of your neck and your throat. Relax your shoulders all the way down the arms to the fingertips. Relax your torso, both front and back, so your chest, your belly, the entire back. And then relax your hips all the way down the legs to the very tips of your toes. Let go of effort. You can just pause and be still for a few moments. So I'll stop speaking for just a few moments and then I'll guide you. Take a slow, deep breath in and a long, relaxed breath out. And bring your hands up, join your palms against each other, and join your hands against the center of your chest, thumbs against the breastbone. So thank you all for being here this morning and participating in this chair yoga practice. Namaste.